All right, here we go. On to the second day of dealing with word problems and setting up a system of equations. You're going to see the next two worksheets are going to be significantly more difficult than the first one you did, where it was just you had a sum of two numbers and a difference of two numbers. Okay, this one we're going to deal with money. So you can see right here I have plenty of space. I know on the worksheet that I gave you there's hardly any space, as I probably already told you in class. We're going to do number 2 on this video. Put this work on the back, and all the other problems that we do on the worksheet with the money problems, do that on the back as well, because it's going to take a lot of work. It is impossible to squeeze all this in between each problem. Okay, you can see right away in the green I already have x and y. When setting up a system of equations, we're going to have two equations and we're going to have two unknowns. So automatically I'm going to put x and y, and from reading the problem I can figure out what two types of quantities I'm dealing with. And if I read through this one right away, I'm going to see that the two types of quantity that I'm dealing with are small paper clips and a box of large paper clips. And if I go down in the question, it says find the cost of a box of each size of paper clips. So those are the two unknowns. I want to find the cost of a box of small paper clips and a box of large paper clips. So I'm going to say x is the cost of one small box of paper clips. So I'll put one small box. Y, I'll just say that's the cost of one large box of paper clips. So I just don't know what the rate is. But I'm given other different quantities, and when you add them up, it equals some of the numbers that are provided in this problem. So let's look at that. All right, so first part says if I have 8 boxes of small paper clips and 7 boxes of large paper clips, this is the total. Now, if it says 8 boxes of small paper clips, well, I don't know what the cost of one of them is, so if I wanted to find the cost of 8 of them, it's going to be 8 times x, because x represents the cost of one small box. So that, I'm going to put 8x. Then it says 7 boxes of the large. Well, y is the large, so it's going to be plus 7y. And then it says is, so we're going to put equals. Remember, that's a keyword for equals, and it is 44.95, so that's what we put there. So that's our first equation. Then the second sentence is basically going to give us the second equation. Then it says, all right, we have 5 boxes of small clips. Well, each small box is x, so that's 5x. And then it's saying we have 3 boxes of large paper clips, so that's plus 3y. And we add the 5 boxes of the small and the 3 boxes of the large, the total is $22.80. Okay, other thing you can see, we're dealing with money, and whenever you deal with money, you round to the nearest hundredth, which is the nearest cent, second place to the right of the decimal. There's no way you can do these problems without a calculator. So if you're taking the notes right now, take out your TI Nspire or TI-30 or whatever calculator you have, because it's very important that you have that in order to solve for this. Okay, then it's, your question is, do I want to use elimination or do I want to use substitution? The numbers are so ugly, I'm going to stay away from substitution. I'm still going to do elimination. And I'm looking at this, probably thinking it's going to be easier to eliminate y. So I can't take this 3 and multiply it by anything that'll give me negative 7y. So this is where I have to multiply both equations. I'm going to switch the coefficients. So I'm going to multiply this first equation by this 3. Okay, so let's do that. Multiply this by the 3. I'm going to put here the new equation. So 3 times 8x is 24x. 3 times 7y is positive 21y. And then this is where you really have to do this on your calculator. Then you're doing 3 times 44.95. So I'm going to do that right now. 3 times $44.95. That gives me $134.85. All right, now I have to multiply the second equation. Now this is where I switch it. So I'm going to bring this 7 down here, except I'm going to make it negative because I want opposites lined up. So I'm going to multiply it by, by negative 7. So this equation becomes negative 7 times, remember when we distribute, right? Negative 7 times 5x becomes negative 35x. Negative 7 times 3y becomes minus 21y. So there's my opposites lined up for the y. And then this is where you have to use your calculator. What's negative 7 times 22.8? So I'm going to put that in. Negative 7. Whoops. Where are we at here? 7 times 22.8. That gives us a negative 159.6. Okay, now I can add because these are going to go away. So when I add, these cancel out. So I'm going to put a slash through it right away. So I'm going to put plus. Okay, when I add 24 plus negative 35x, that gives me negative 11x. Line up the equals. And then when I add these, 135 or 134.85 and then minus 159.6, that's going to give me a negative. Okay, I'm going to put that in the calculator right now. So 134.85, I'm going to put minus 159.6. That gives me negative 24.75. So you see how it gets really ugly with these decimals. So then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 11. Okay, the negatives are going to cancel out. So I take this, divide it by negative 11. And we get $2.25. Now the $2.25, what that represents, I always go back to the setup. X is $2.25. Well, that's the cost of one small box right there. Now if I want to find Y, one large box, it's the same thing we've been doing. I'm going to take this X and, you know what, let's plug it into this second equation. So when I do that, it's going to be 5 times X, which I figured out is 2.25, plus 3Y equals the 22.80. Let's see here, 5 times 2.25 gives me 11.25 plus 3y equals 22.8. Okay, I'm going to subtract 11.25 from both sides. And I'm going to have 3y equals, again, I rely on the calculator, 22.8 minus 11.25. That gives me 11.55. Then we divide both sides by 3. So I take 11.55 and I divide it by 3. I get y to be 3.85. So I'll put the little money symbol here. So there it is. I figured it out. The cost of one small box was $2.25, which was X. The cost of one large box of paper clips was $3.85. Okay? So you're going to get your two equations. You're going to get your two unknowns. Look at all the work. I mean, it took up the whole space right here. Put the work on the back. Have your calculator with you. Very important. Bring in your calculator tomorrow. Ciao.